Hey everybody, my name is Steve Breen and I'm a cartoonist and author illustrator. I've done several picture books and I've done several graphic novels, a couple humor books. Right now I'm actually working on a graphic novel called Sky and Tie 2, Dynamite, and it comes out in the spring of 2025. It's with Pixel and Ink, and it's been a lot of fun. I came up with the idea about 5 years ago when my son was drawing one day, and he came up with a sketch in crayon of this orange dinosaur and an orange cowboy. And I thought it was pretty cool, and I looked at it and I thought, what if we made that cowboy into a blue cowgirl and we set it in the Old West, and the two of them formed a package delivery service. So that's the origin of Sky and Tie. Here's the first book, came out this year. And again, it's my first graphic novel. It's a lot of work. Anyone who's done a graphic novel will tell you it is not easy because there are a lot of pictures in a graphic novel. But it's a lot of fun to produce because you could tell a story with a lot more freedom, and you could use a lot of just fun, cartoony little ways of telling the story. You know, kind of like a comic strip, but extended out over 60 to 100 pages. So anyway, Sky and Tie. So Sky and Tie is my latest book, but I've done a bunch of picture books, as I mentioned. And the artwork for the books that I did a few years ago was old school. It was basically pen and ink with a watercolor wash. Sometimes there's some colored pencil in there, but I would work pretty large, as you can see, and I would just produce dozens of these things. You can see here on the margin of the illustration, this is where I blotted my watercolors on my brush. I probably should have had blotters, but I would use the piece of paper. I know. I work in very unorthodox ways sometimes. Here's another illustration for a picture book. Here's another illustration for a picture book. Look how big these are. This is a spread, so this went over 2 pages. But now I'm all digital. I don't use paper anymore. I don't have the pleasure of going to the art department, or the art store rather, and picking out a bunch of supplies, which I really miss actually. I used to use Pigma Micron pens, Crow Quill nibs with India ink, and color pencils, Prismacolor color pencils, all kinds of watercolors and acrylics. But I'm saving a lot of money on all that stuff. I'm all digital now. I'm an editorial cartoonist by day. I work for iNewsSource, which is a news outlet in San Diego. And at nighttime, I come up here to the studio and I work on children's books. Here's my digital station. This is my main tool right here. And I have this stand, which is pretty cool and handy. I added a piece of vellum to the screen, which has been really nice because it gives it a little bit of texture, so you're not just drawing on that cold, smooth glass. There's a little bit of tooth to it as you draw. And I got it online. It was pretty cheap, $15 or so. And of course, you need an Apple Pencil. And I use Procreate primarily, which is a popular drawing app, and it's actually quite amazing. It does so much, and it's so easy and even fun to use. Procreate, you can see my gallery is filled with stuff. So anyway, I draw a lot of editorial cartoons. Here's Trump and Kamala Harris, kind of quick and sketchy versions of the two candidates that ran for president in fall of 2024. In Procreate, they record all your strokes, and you could do this cool video playback. So anyway, here are those two. Okay, so when I draw, I first will, of course, rough things out. So that looks a little something like this. And I'll sketch a layer in that might look something like this. Maybe like a blue pencil or something. And then I will, on another layer, go and add some ink on top of that. So now here is like a tighter inked layer. And I'll basically just kind of neatly go over my rough blue lines like so. And I'll add little flourishes and details here and there, like maybe a pattern on Ty the dinosaur's vest. Here's his bolo, his collar. This pad really helps to stabilize my hand as I draw. But as I'm inking here and coloring a book, I like to put on the TV or talk on the phone or listen to some music or a podcast. It's actually very relaxing and a nice part of the process. So anyway, I'll spend time doing this, and then the finished product would look something like this after I've added the color layer. This is the cover of my upcoming book. In case I didn't mention, it's Sky and Ty, Dynamite. This is my second graphic novel, the sequel to Sky and Ty, Howdy Partner. Now the interior pages kind of are similar, but usually the pages are broken down into panels so that you can pace the story and kind of move the story along depending on what you need to do. I like to add a grid here, a drawing guide to help me keep everything nice and square and straight. So you see that these lines here, which of course don't show up in the finished product, act as guides to help me, much like you would put lines in with a T-square on your light table in the days of old. But now I do the pencil rough layer, and then I will add an inked layer, and that looks a little something like this. And then the color comes in, and boom, we are done with that page. Each of these pages, I would say, takes about an hour total to produce. That's after you have the book written and approved by your editor.